You gave me peace of mind. What more can I say? Great and mighty are your works, your endless testimony. And you every morning. What more can I say? You are the reason why I live. You are the reason why I breathe. There is nothing to compare you. My God is real. Oh, He is real. God is real. He is real. My God is real. Oh, God is real. Oh, my God is real. Oh, God is real. Oh, Creator of the universe, the beauty of my life. You are the Lord and reigning King. What more can I say? I want for Kabiyesi, the air that I breathe, the reason for my being. What more can I say? You are the reason why I live. You are the reason why I breathe. There is nothing to compare you. My God is real. Oh, He is real.
Before God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind, the strength and vigor of my body, in the service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace. Work diligently and creatively. Think generously and honestly. So that the world may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity. Play my part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race.
Good day, fantastic people. Welcome to the Tops Radio Team, a place where we share the love, joy, and peace of one's heart. And indeed, if you're in Jamaica, welcome. If you're in the Caribbean, welcome. If you're in Europe, UK, Africa, Asia, or other parts of the world, welcome to the Lady Tracey Show. Welcome, my young people. It is your day. If you've been with me for the past few weeks, you will know that we have been focusing on youth, some young warriors in Christ, some young leaders, youth throughout the globe. Not necessarily just in Jamaica. So today we are celebrating our Era's Day. So all my Jamaicans, happy Era's Day to you. And of course, we will continue to highlight our young leaders, our young heroes, as we have been doing. Today's show is sponsored by Script of Virtue online store. They supply all your planners, journals, books, and gospel music. To contact them, you can see their online store at scriptofvirtue.business.site, or you can contact them at 876-367-7413. Don't go anywhere after these messages. More to come. Watch this one you walk from dusk till dawn. Don't you see that Sahara and Corona gone? Why don't you go to Script of Virtue and order yourself a book? Get yourself a journal now, man. Or even get a book for your children. Their number is 876-367-7413. Or you can go to their business site at scriptofvirtue.business.site. Shaman. If you're just joining us, you're locked in the Lady Tracey Show. And of course, most importantly to our Youth Expression series. Today's topic will be our heroes. Who is an hero? A hero is someone who is admired for their courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. Today, can we identify some heroes among us? Look around you. If you go into the homes, we will find some heroes there, or parents or grandparents, or even adults and uncles. If we go to the schools, we can find some as well. We have our teachers, our guidance counselors, our principals, and even our student nurses and prefects, ed boys, ed girls. They are there. In the working world, we also have some. Or doctors on the front line, or police officers who try to keep justice, or pastors in the churches who pray for us, and many others. It was October the 14th that we had 4 wonderful heroes in Waterhouse St. Andrew. These men were so brave to risk their own life for the sake of a drowning child. They pulled the child out of the flooding water of the Sandy Gully area and rescue her. You are an hero, and we are pleased for your bravery. Continue to do your awesome deeds.
The earth you created man, crafted from a special mold, created in your image and your likeness, yeah. Man became a living soul. Angels sing about it, heaven and earth declare it, and there's no one else like you. For in the morning when I wake up and I see the sunshine, the trees dancing and the leaves are shaking, philosophy can't deny. every need. Rapha, you touched my body. Good shepherd, you came and found me. Father, there's really no one like you. Or in the morning when I wake up and I see the sunshine, when I see the trees dancing and the leaves are shaking, philosophy can't deny it, the world can't defy it, but you are real and there is no doubt about it. Creator of the universe, how powerful you are. The one who sees and knows all things, you're brighter than the stars. I will glorify and exalt you, my God. I crown you as the King of Kings because you're Lord.
I've not always had the strongest faith. I have always believed that things would fail. But Lord, through all the struggles, trials, testings, you brought me through. You brought me through. And Lord, despite my many, many mistakes, your love for me, it remains the same. So I won't let sticks or stones take my place. I worship you, King of glory, Lord Almighty. I worship you. Merciful Father, my heart's desire is to worship you. Oh, so I'll worship you. I will worship you. There's so much trouble in this world, we don't know who to turn to. But there's only one I can depend on, and it's you. Though we're living in a troubled world and going through dark times, I know I'm safe if you're by my side. King of glory, Lord Almighty, I worship you. Merciful Father, my heart's desire is to worship you.
We call you King. Yes, you are Lord, the one true Savior. Creation bows in awe of you, the one eternal. Great and mighty God, Prince of Peace, you reign forevermore. Everlasting God, the great I am, the one who we adore. Forever you are faithful, God. Forever you are righteous, God. Forever you are wise, oh God. Forever you are holy, God. You are my healer, God. Forever you are great, oh God. And I will praise you forever. Yeah. To the cross you went and gave your life so I could be free. My chains are gone, I'm no longer bound, so to you I'll sing. Great and mighty God, Prince of Peace, you reign forevermore.
Watch this when you walk from dusk till dawn. Don't you see that Sahara and Corona gone? Why don't you go to Script of Virtue and order yourself a book? Get yourself a journal, no man. Or even get a book for your children. Their number is 876-367-7413, or you can go to their business site at scriptofvirtue.business.site. Shaman. Indeed, a little of our 2020 Jamaica Festival finals. I'm talking about Dean McDonald, Sherry Gaith Johnson, and of Neil Lamont. Ladies and gentlemen, right now we want to welcome our radio interview segment where we will be introducing a man of integrity. I'm talking about the man Javian Blake out of Hanover, Jamaica here. And of course, USA. He has just moved to the States. So don't go anywhere. Right now, we will welcome Mr. Javian Blake, our entrepreneur and our young youth advocate. And we have Mr. Javian Blake on the line. Javian is one of our young entrepreneur in society. He is a Jamaican, and of course, he has been a big impact to many. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Javian Blake. Welcome, Javian. How are you today?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me. And I think you're doing a tremendous work with trying to bring life to some of the work being done by young entrepreneurs and others in the space. So,
excellent.
Kudos and thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. When I saw the great work that you have been doing within the past months, I am like, yes, you're no stranger to me, but I am sure you are a stranger to many who are listening. And if you guys don't know, Javian is one of my young schoolmates in high school. We went to the same school, and it's not for familiarity, but because of the level that he is right now in society, doing such a good work, being an impact and being an example to young people, I decided upon getting Javian on our show. So Javian, tell us a little about your experience growing up And also during that little time span when you decided that you're going to go into the entrepreneur world?
So growing up, yeah, I've known Tracey for a while too. So I wanted to point it out. Yeah, we did high school. I think even before. I think I knew it before high school. But yeah, so I grew up in Jamaica, in Western Jamaica, in specific, close to the borders of Hanover, St. James, and just a regular, youth in the countryside. The typical, you go to school, you come home, marvelous season is marvelous season. You have fun, basketball or whichever it is, and you just, you spend time in the community. And I went to Rosse's High School. That's where I went to high school. And when I was going to Rosse's, I eventually, started getting drifted more towards the science field. And in the science field, I graduated with science and focused there. And that was, back in the early 2000s. And then eventually moved on to Montego Bay Community College, where I started community college, and then eventually up to UTEC. And I completed my first undergrad at UTEC back in the 2008, I believe. Mm-hmm. And after that, I migrated to the States. Specifically, I moved to Montana, where I went and did a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, because I was doing the same thing in Jamaica. And to complete that, I stayed on in a bachelor in Montana with an aerospace minor, because I've always had some interest in going into, the aerospace field or stuff like that. And then after that, I stayed on after Montana being a beautiful place, and I figured, like, why not stay a little bit longer? I did my graduate studies there in industrial management engineering. While I was in my industrial management engineering, I started doing product design for a company in Denver, Colorado. And I started doing that for 2 consecutive summers, and they asked me to come on full-time after I was done with my graduate studies, which is a master in industrial engineering. And so I did that, and then I moved on to Denver, Colorado, where I did product design, industrial film collection systems. Was able to acquire 2 patents there through the company. Before moving on from there, I went out to New Mexico for a little while to live in Albuquerque and work. And I was designing rock crushing machinery then. And I did that for a year, and the company in Denver asked me to come back. So I decided, like, okay, I'll make the jump, and I came back to Denver. So after coming back to Denver and being with that company for a while, there was a time there when it was great, it was exciting coming back, and then it was just a time to make a switch. Into doing something different. And I always kind of wanted to bridge a little bit of a cultural gap and just like bring something new and exciting to the world around. And food is one of the things, because I realized, like, being here in the States, like, some of the foods that I would get in Jamaica that are probably the more natural state are not really here in Colorado. And kind of similar with entertainment. So I kind of started off by, doing entertainment stuff, and like I would bring DJs to do events here in Denver. Eventually drift into like a food event. After drifting to a food event, one day I was actually sitting on my sofa watching something with TV or something, where it was like talking about potato chips, and the question came to mind of like, I wonder what would happen if I sliced breadfruit really thin. And from there, the breadfruit chips project was born.
Wow.
Got some sampling done and brought it up here and had people try it, and people were surprised, like, they've never heard about this thing. And people up here have never heard about breadfruit.
That's why that's what struck me, Javian. Hold on.
Sorry.
Let me backtrack a little, because you started out
ever since I knew you, have always been in school. Like, you keep studying. I remember at one point I called you and I was like, "What's up?" And you were like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm now going into my master's." So I was like, "This dude never rests. He just keeps going." But before we get to the entrepreneur side of you, let me ask you quickly, what gave you the motivation to just keep going in all your student year?
I don't know. Like I really kind of enjoyed it. I grew up. I grew up in a scenario where majority of the folks around never really had a tertiary level education. And so, like, I was experiencing, like, even in my immediate family, I was one of the first ones to go to college. So to me, it was just an adventure. It just became like an adventure, being able to, like, step outside of the norm and seeing what's out there. And so each step of the way, I mean, as I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it wasn't hard work, but each step of the way, I was trying to figure out what else can I do, like where else can I take this thing, and
Yeah,
how much more can I really, like, explore in this.
yes. So you just had that motivation to keep going on because of the adventure and because of the new knowledge that you're achieving. And I remember you were the school you were part of the Rosie's High School Challenge quiz. So you were also one of those smart kids even in high school. But let me ask you, Javian, what made you choose mechanical engineering? Of all the other things, what made you choose mechanical engineering?
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to add on that too is, like, it was also like a level of adventure, but at the same time, I realized, like, I was given an opportunity, and so I took that up kind of like that's one thing I wanted to add there. In terms of mechanical engineering, interestingly, what happened was, eventually I thought about being a doctor. Well, first of all, I was thinking about being a pilot for the longest time, and then I came down to wanting to be a doctor, and then I realized, like, I don't necessarily feel like the doctor field. I love biology. I was great at biology. But, like,
Yeah, because you've always been in the sciences.
And then,
yeah, I'm saying you've always been in the sciences. So when you went to that, when you went to that, I was like a bit shocked. That's not Javian engineering. Nah, I thought you were going to be one of those, field doctor that goes out on missions or something. Always,
Yeah, that was, because since I was a kid, that's the next thing too. Mechanical engineering was kind of like a natural fit, because since I was a kid, I've always really been into, like, building products. So, like, whether it is a little, like, cart or something, or fixing the Walkman or fixing the fan, going to the fan and fixing it. So I've always had kind of like some kind of motivation to, like, fix electromechanical devices. And so when mechanical engineering came around, like, I didn't actually understood what mechanical engineering was when I actually started it. It was really when I really got into it and I realized, like, wow, you're applying sciences to just, everyday life. And I'm like, wow, this is a school. And actually, it was never after I graduated from even my master's and started, like, actually working and using it in the field, that it even became even more real to me as to what the potential of this is.
Wow.
I think, if you ask me, engineering in general, like, I think even if you want to be an entrepreneur and if you're thinking what to study, I mean, study a little bit of business, because I think that's great. But I think having an engineering background just gives you a total different viewpoint of how to view the world and produce systems that actually work. Because one of the things you come to learn as an engineer is that everything interacts with each other. So I kind of drift into engineering in a sense, but I definitely loved the fact that I did choose engineering, and I feel like it has helped me so much in so many ways that even doesn't seem relevant to engineering.
Awesome. All right. So let's get to the business part now. Tell us about Just Chill. Just Chill, your business, your new awesome idea about the breadfruit chips and all of these stuff. Tell us what Just Chill is all about and what Just Chill offers.
So interesting. Just Chill started out as this concept. So Just Chill actually started out when I was back in Jamaica at UTEC. The name actually came up with me and Chris. One time we were planning on doing some kind of event, and we started thinking about like, oh, let's come up with a name to do this thing. And if you actually look at the term Just Chill, you realize. So back in the day, they would call me Juvie. That was a popular name I was known as. Mm-hmm. And if you look at Just Chill, you see Juvie and you see Chris, if you notice it. And then at the end of it, you see the L, and that's for Leslie. And that's for Andrew and Leslie. Okay. So really and truly, Just Chill in terms started out way back, like at least the name we came up from way back in the day, which Juvie, Chris, and Leslie.
So it's really of a more personal.
The concept of
I'm saying it's a personal idea between friends, 3 friends.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. The brand, that brand really came about. Like, at least the name of it came around from that. And then the concept of the company here was that I realized after living in the Northwest for so long, like in the Rocky Mountain regions, whether it's Montana, Colorado, New Mexico, and everywhere in between, I visited, I realized there was just a lacking of like products and services and just like point of contacts for stuff from the global south, especially Jamaica in this region. And so I kind of viewed Just Chill as something I thought of as like this concept I thought of called experiential marketing, where I was initially thinking like, let me just go ahead and just market stuff from the region in this particular, in market stuff from like Jamaica in this region. And that's kind of where the concept grew out of, was to like figure out ways to like introduce people here to products that are based and or could be found in Jamaica. And I went around with that, and I did, I've kind of linked up with like, the Jamaica Tourist Board and, the great set of people there. Big up yourself, Mrs. Allen, Mrs. Wright. I started like dabbling in that and doing the events and stuff like that nature. And then, I started like thinking about like food. Initially I was thinking about like coffee. And so I started looking into what the market of that looked like. But then it came to the point where it's like, I don't really drink coffee and I might not be the person to really like introduce it. And plus like, the Marley coffee was already a thing over here. So I know Rowan Marley was doing a lot of things in this region.
Got you.
And so like eventually it came around and it's like breadfruit, and then dealt with it for a few years and tried to figure out. Initially, I was like, I'm just gonna like introduce breadfruit in like these slices, and then people could like just do what they want to do with it. And then I came around to the concept one day. What I said earlier with finding out what slicing it where it's in would be like, and from there. But for me, it's just more like an expansion of like what I'm trying to do, which is I'm trying to like, people. Recently, I've been trying to use the term to describe Just Chill as. At least the mission statement as aspire, then inspire.
Okay.
And the reason for that is like, I want to be an example where folks can look at and say, back in the day, an example that say, oh, if so-and-so can try it and get it done, then I can be able to try and get it done.
Awesome.
And that's really, I think, is the mission. I want to aspire and reach to great heights, and then reaching at that great heights, I want to be able to use that to inspire others who might be starting on this situation like how I started out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Javian.
Are you looking for a place to stay when you are in Jamaica? Well, look no more. It's the ultimate freedom bed and breakfast. Beagles Drive, Brighton, Santa Cruz.
Come along, and make we have some nice time tonight.
It's the place that offers somewhere to stay with a difference. You wake up in the morning with a smell of our Jamaican style breakfast. Single occupancy, $65, double $85, and 3 people, just $110. Call us today, 416-301-2698, 1-876-997-6589, 1-876-840-5144, or visit our website, ultimatefreedombnb.com, or email us at ultimatefreedomjamaica@gmail.com. It's the Ultimate Freedom Bed and Breakfast, Beagles Drive, Brighton, Santa Cruz, Jamaica. It's the place that customers come first.
Come along, come along.
Mr. Javian Blake out of Anova, Jamaica here. If you want his products, you can find him at www.123justchill.com, or he's always on Facebook. That's facebook.com/iifoods/. He's also on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Amazon. That's amazon.com/jamaica-breadfruit-chips-original. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. More to come after these messages. Now let us take a little moment to shine our light on our national heroes. The Jamaican national hero dared to challenge the institution of colonialism, and in so doing changed the course of Jamaica's history, giving social and political freedom to its people. Today, the statues of Jamaica's 7 national heroes stands in proud acknowledgement in the National Heroes Park in Kingston, where they are viewed with inspiring pride, unforgettable symbols of Jamaica's enduring strength. Our first hero, Paul Bogle. Paul Bogle was born. His date of birth was uncertain, but he died in 1865. Paul Bogle was a Baptist deacon who generally regarded as a peaceful man who shunned violence. He believed in the teaching of the Bible, endorsing the principles of charity and endurance. Yet he was also a leader and organizer who knew well the terrains of the land and had spent time in educating and training his followers. He lived in St. Thomas and led the Morant Bay Rebellion in 1965. Hero number 2, George William Garden. Born in 1820 and died in 1865. George William Garden was a free colored landowner and an associate of Bogle. As a member of the House of Parliament, he used his position to highlight the suffering of the people and to make a plea for changes. The Morant Bay Rebellion and the resultant deaths of Bogle and Garden precipitated the beginning of a new era in Jamaica's development. Hero number 3, Nanny. Nanny lived and died in Nanny Town. Nanny of the Maroons stands out in history as the only female among Jamaica's national hero. She possessed that fierce fighting spirit generally associated with the courage of men. In fact, Nanny is described as a fearless Ashanti warrior who used militarist techniques to foul and beguile the English. Like the heroes of the pre-independence era, Nanny too met her untimely death at the instigation of the English sometimes around 1750s. Samuel Sharp, or fourth hero. He was born in 1801 and he died in 1832. Daddy Sammy Sharp, as he was affectionately called, was to carry on the resistance against slavery, effecting at the young age of 31, and most outstanding slave rebellion in Jamaica's history. Sharp, an educated town slave, was a preacher and spokesman, intelligent and sharp. He followed the developments of the abolition movement by reading discarded local and foreign papers and was able to advise his followers. In 1831, Christmas Rebellion started in St. James and spread throughout the entire island. The rebellion started on December 28 and lasted 8 days. Sam Sharp was eventually captured and hung at the parade in Montego Bay. On August 1, 1938, the apprenticeship system ended, granting full freedom to the slaves. Sir Alexander Bustamante, born 1884 and died 1977. Alexander Bustamante was an aggressive, outspoken young man who understood the dynamics of labor relations. He started the Industrial Trade Union in 1938 and was jailed for 17 months following labor riots. He became Jamaica's first chief minister, a position he held until 1954. Being knighted that same year by the Queen. 1962, Jamaica was granted full independence. Our sixth hero, Norman Washington Manley. Born 1893 and died in 1969. Norman Washington Manley founded the People's National Party, which later was tied to the Trade Union Congress and the NWU, together with Bustamante. Their efforts result in the new Constitution of 1944, granting full adult suffrage. In 1955, Manley was elected chief minister. The 400 years British rule, invoking slavery, deculturization, uprising, and bloodshed was now at an end. And lastly, our seventh hero, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Born in 1887 and died in 1940. Marcus Mosiah Garvey stands out in history as one who was greatly committed to the concept of the emancipation of minds. Garvey was born in St. Anne, became famous worldwide as a leader who was courageous and eloquent in his call for improvement for blacks. He sought the unification of all blacks through the establishment of the United Negro Improvement Association and spoke out against economic exploitation and cultural denigration. He spent many years in the United States pursuing this goal of black unification. Don't go anywhere. I'm sure you have learned a few. More to come after these messages as we celebrate our National Heroes Day.
I'm a Christian, and the shout man a Christian soldier. Carry down as well again. Well, I'm a Christian soldier, standing on the front line with Jehovah, representing the King as an ambassador, saluting the Christian soldiers, salute Christian soldiers, standing on the front line with Jehovah, representing the King as an ambassador, saluting the Christian soldiers, salute. March, we are march to the heavenly beat, and we lock we gaze with Christ. We will not be defeated. The captain of this army are Jesus, and if him fight for me, tell me who can defeat us. So what if it feels like the fight will never end? I'll find peace and safety in the presence of my King. El Gibor, El Shaddai, he's fighting for me. I'm a Christian soldier, standing on the front line with Jehovah, representing the King as an ambassador, saluting the Christian soldiers, salute Christian soldiers, standing on the front line with Jehovah, representing the King as an ambassador, saluting the Christian. See me on the shout box. I'm a Christian, saluting the Christian. Keep on fighting. Yeah. Let me take some time to big up the young girl and the youth, them who really a live up, waving the banner for Christ until them enemy back up. We're moving forward and we not turn back. When you on the front line, you can't afford to waste time. The enemy will play upon your mind, give you a 6 for a 9. So as iron sharpen iron, make we strengthen one another. Big up the intercessors and the prayer mother. Christian soldier, standing on the front line for Jehovah, representing the King as an ambassador, saluting the Christian soldiers, salute Christian soldiers, standing on the front line for Jehovah, representing the King as an ambassador, saluting the Christian soldiers. Let me see you put your hand in the air. If you're a Christian soldier, well, have no fear. Something is going on. Our season is here.
much do you know about your roots? How much do you know about Jamaica? Let us look at 5 did you know facts. Did you know, number 1, that Jamaica has the fastest runners on earth? Did you know that Jamaica produces the most music per capita? Did you know that Jamaica has the most churches per square? There are approximately 2.75 churches per square mile, a fact recognized by the Guinness World Book of Records. There are also churches in people's backyards and living rooms that haven't been taken into consideration. Did you know, number 4, Jamaica was once a Spanish-speaking country. From 1509 to 1655, Jamaica was under Spanish rule. The capital of Jamaica was Villa de la Vega, which was called Spanish Town by the English. It is still called by this name today, though there are many other towns that have kept their Spanish name, such as Ochi Rios. Did you know, number 5, that Jamaica supports equal rights for humanity? I bet you didn't know this. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we say goodbye. For now, take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being with the Lady Tracey Show. We thank you, our guests, our listeners, and of course, the entire Tops Radio team. I have been your host, Tracey Williams. Walk good now.
Hey, Lady Tracey, you don't know, say, how you run things for radio. You know why? Because the Lord God Almighty sign and seal it. Yeah, man, Kevin Smith said that. Big up yourself here, girl, every time. Amen.
Bless your name, Jesus.
Woo! I just the most, yeah. Well, the Bible says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
Close to the God.
Father, we love you every time. Yeah, you're my child.
I wanna be close to you, Jesus. Don't wanna be far away. Hey, hey, hey. I wanna be close to you, Jesus. Don't wanna be far away.
Well, like a belt and a buckle, that's how I want to stay. Close to your Lord God each and every day. Living in your presence, I will never go astray. I praise and worship without delay. Yeah, yeah. Lord, I want to wrap myself around you, and I want to tell you that I love you. Cause when I'm in your presence, I can't help myself but to express myself. But I want drop of blood until the devil walk away. Cause I will always praise him in gospel reggae. I got to read my Bible so me not go astray. Cause in your eyes our life is like
I wanna be close to you.
I know you're alone in a journey,
Jesus. Don't wanna be far away. Hey, hey, hey. I wanna be close to you.
I've been in the outer court
Jesus.
too long.
Don't wanna be far away.
So listen me.
Hey, hey.
So when me shut me eye and lift me hand in a the place, I saw me one day 19 just land in a the place. That can happen without relationship. That's why me have to be a diligent man in a the race. When all the children I got be as one in a the place. Like the upper room it a go grand in a the place. Me no want no rock figure out, me a play my part. Me no want stick standing on me place. And the solid rock me them me standing at the grace. If God praise a pillar me belong in a the case. Me want Jesus see me so much that him tell him Father every man in this man in a me
I wanna
face.
be close to you,
closer than ever.
Jesus. Don't wanna be far away.
Every day and every night.
Hey, hey. I wanna be close to you.
I would have never wanted to leave the presence
Don't
of
wanna be
Almighty.
far away. Hey,
Here I go now. Listen. If a relationship me want you will give me, and so me really have to stay close to you. Him stick closer than a brother, you no see me, and even closer than my mommy and my crew. And me believe that me not gonna do. No, and if me leave, what me I gonna do? Instead me check and see me really did a closer walk for you. So me let go all the things me said, the word me start recruit. In that Ephesians where me go and find a full armor.
Welcome, Randall Positive. Bob Wire. A fire. Kingston, Jamaica.
Kingston, Jamaica.
Kingston, Jamaica.
Real life.
Well, I don't know about you. I'm not afraid.
Say I'm not afraid.
Hey. My shepherd, he walks beside me all the way.
He's always protecting.
I will not fear. God is there.
He's always by my side. Oh.
Well, I don't know about you. I'm not afraid.
Why I?
Well, if you see them coming, don't bother start running. For the one who watches over you is never sleeping. Who rule over all? I will stand the tallest. Every knee shall go to Jehovah. That's why me a calling. Solid, solid than a rock. See closer than a brother. Always on me back. He's my vindicator. When man wanna condemn, all when me fall on me face, he pick me up again. Well, I don't know about you. I'm not.
Why you say down swear?
My shepherd, he walks beside me all the way.
Always protect him.
I will not fear Jesus. God is there.
He's always by my side.
Well, I don't know about you.
Hey, Mr. Downswell, I've got goodness on my left, mercy upon my right, 12 legions to protect me so I don't have to fight. Praise as my weapon, prayer as my shield. I'm on dangerous as we go fight the battlefield. To the warriors they boast, darkness disappear. Here is the man and it's just so the real light appear. Even weapons start to rise, my call to their surprise. Cause angels watching over me.
Well, I don't know about you. I'm not afraid.
I'm not afraid.
My shepherd, he walks beside me all the way.
He's always protecting.
I will not fear. God is there.
Why?
Jesus, well, I don't know about you. I'm not afraid. When I can't stand no more,
Downswell, on my car.
his hand will lift me up.
My insurmountable walls.
I was made away when there was no way. Turn my night to day. Keep my hands not there. When I got a feeling,
I say it's gonna be alright.
it's gonna be alright. Well, I don't know about you.
Say not afraid.
My shepherd, he walks beside me all the way.
You won't leave me yet.
I will not fear.
Say God is my side.
I don't know about you. I'm not.